One point in a four-way. This is officially what you can call a squeaker. Joining me right now with their thoughts on the whole birther thing, as well as the new poll numbers, Trump supporter Harlan Hill and Neil Schroka from Democracy for America. I should point out that both you guys were Bernie supporters.
That's right.
It's interesting to see how people migrate once, Bernie's no longer in the game. But anyway, what's your thought here in terms of Hillary Clinton really trying to have this birther thing live on and on? In fact, let me share with you just a couple tweets that she put out moments ago. She said, what Trump did is a disgrace. What Trump should do for once in his life is own up to his mistakes, apologize to the president and the American people. And she says Trump's birtherism stems from the same innate beliefs that led to discriminating against black tenants early in his career. Can't be undone. He certainly seemed to try to put it to rest. Is she not going to be able to allow him to do that?
I don't know what else the media wants from Donald Trump at this point. He's done exactly what he was supposed to do, which is he said that this is a non-issue, because it's not. And the single greatest source of fuel for birtherism in this country is the mainstream media. That's a fact. They still, to this day, all morning, they've been covering it wall to wall. It's true. Turn on CNN, you'll see it. And the truth is, when you actually look at the facts, and this is not what they're saying, is that Hillary Clinton she started the whole birtherism movement. And it was Mark Penn, who was her chief campaign strategist.
She did actually have a hand in it. I don't know if she actually originated it, but she definitely had a hand in it. I mean, do we have any of that sound? I wonder if we can play from way back when, because when she was first campaigning, Neil, you can't say it's not true. When she was first campaigning against Donald Trump, her campaign put some of this out there, alluded to it initially.
No, that's just not true. You don't have any sound of it because it's just not true. The fact of the matter is there were a few deluded Hillary Clinton supporters way back in 2007 who started talking about this sort of stuff. But Donald Trump made a cottage industry out of doubting Barack Obama's citizenship during the vast majority of his presidency. This is a guy who emerged on the national stage in large part because he spent 5 years talking about Barack Obama's birth certificate. It's just nuts to think that, this simple 37-second statement is going to satisfy millions of voters who deserve an apology.
Neil, I'm going to quote from Mark Penn's strategy memo from March 2007. He said, Barack Obama's background is diverse and multicultural. Save it for 2050. In every speech, Hillary Clinton should contain the line, I was born in the middle of America, to draw a stark contrast between her and candidate Barack Obama at the time.
Yeah, so I know for you to say it's just a few delusional members of the Democratic Party is not quite the case. But you know what? I want to move on from this. Here's why.
There is a sharp difference, Harlan, between that and reality.
I want to talk about her technique here to try and get us all to talk about this over and over again. I mean, tweeting what she did, saying what she did earlier today. I mean, do we have a clip from the press conference? Let's run this, because we got nothing in the way of actual policy. Absolutely nothing. Just a bunch of attacks on him. Here you go. Roll tape.
For 5 years, he has led the birther movement to delegitimize our first black president. His campaign was founded on this outrageous lie. There is no erasing it in history. Barack Obama was born in America, plain and simple, and Donald Trump owes him and the American people an apology.
All right. So here she is. Her one opportunity after having rested throughout the week, which she needed to do. You got a pneumonia or, anything that she may have, and you need to rest. You need to get that rest. We're not going to begrudge her that. But instead of coming forward and saying, here's how I'm going to fix the economy, here's how I'm going to take care of ISIS, all she does is go on about Trump and this birther thing. Really, Neil? Doesn't she have anything better to offer the American people than a bunch of criticism?
Trish, the reason why we're talking about Donald Trump's long history of birtherism is because yesterday, in an interview with the Washington Post, he refused to take a position against it and, frankly, apologize for his long-stated history of denying Barack Obama's birth in this country. So that's the reason why we're talking about it. And, frankly, I think, Hillary Clinton and millions of Democrats all across the country want an apology from Donald Trump, which we didn't get today at all.
Does he owe American apology for bringing these things up, Harlan? Is that what he needs to do to put it to rest?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what it takes to put this behind us, I mean, I think by being so quick with his speech today. I mean, it's basically 2 lines. He's signaling to the American people this is not an issue. His campaign has not made this an issue. He didn't make it an issue in yesterday's interview.
It's
the
not
media
an issue.
did by asking it. Why are they asking it? Is because they're trying to further Hillary Clinton, just as they did when she was facing Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary.
It's not an issue, Harlan, because it destroys his candidacy.
Let me ask you this. Poll numbers. Neil, I mean, what happened to the people writing this whole thing off and saying she's going to win it? I mean, it obviously is not the case now. Fox News in a 2-way race has Donald Trump by a point.
It's one of the reasons why I've been talking on this show and others for a very long time about taking this race very seriously. No matter where the polling is, we have to take the threat of what Donald Trump represents very, very seriously and work as hard as we can to not just defeat him, but defeat him down the aisle.
But I'm just in some ways amused by this, but I get it. The strategy that Hillary Clinton's team is putting forward, Harlan, which is that he is so awful. You have to vote for her, not because she's offering you anything different, not because she's promising to solve the problems in the world, but because he's so bad. I mean, I think it's a worthwhile strategy because, you know, fear sells, fear motivates, and she's trying to create fear around him.
That's right. She can't win on the merit. She can't win on policy. So what does she do? She drags him down into the mud, and she makes this a referendum on Donald Trump. And that is what they're doing. And when you look at the polling, the weeks that she performs the best, it's when they're having a conversation about Donald Trump's fitness to be president.
What Donald Trump has
and
said.
That's what they're doing here again. It's clear that 2 weeks in a row, she's losing.
All right.
Donald Trump dragged this race down into the gutter from the start.
Save it up, Neil. Thank you so much, Harlan. I'll see you guys just in a short time. You know, as I mentioned, of course, you heard me talking about those polls. Let me also show you these delegate maps, which are starting to really shift. You got a new